Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. And of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need a new roof or roof replacement for any type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, Tom Laporta can handle it. And he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay. Since President Trump has been reelected, we've gotten our country back. We've been living in this bizarro world of wokeism that's just gotten weird, right? I don't have to tell you guys. It's just gotten weird. And a big story dropped today. This is being reported everywhere. I'm going to read this to you from Fox. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance confirmed that Daniel Penny, the Marine veteran found not guilty in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely, has officially accepted his invitation to be his guest at the Army-Navy game this weekend. So J.D. Vance invited Daniel Penny because they're both Marines, and that means he'll be there with President Trump, I'm assuming, and there's a presidential box.
Along with Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth will be there too.
Yeah.
And what's happened is this thing they were selling of toxic masculinity is gone. Masculinity is not toxic, and what they were thinking was insane. And I'll tell you this, okay? Kamala Harris, there's a video that's been going viral for 2 days now, maybe 3. She was speaking at an event this week. She's standing on stage. She is so drunk.
Yeah, she looked pretty bad.
And
I liked her outfit, though. She had a nice red pantsuit on. I mean, it was a nice outfit.
Yeah, but she was totally hammered.
Yeah, she was.
And what happened with her, it's really an interesting thing because it came out months ago that she had a problem with the drink, that she was an alcoholic. It's what they call a function
She's always
alcoholic.
having a good freaking time.
And I don't know if her drinking's worse now than before, or if she just doesn't care and she's not concealing it like she maybe used to do. But what Kamala Harris has proven, because we have 2 test cases now, we have Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. Women cannot handle the stress of the presidency. We've had 2 women nominated for one of the major parties, the Democrats. Both lost. Neither of them could come out and concede. They both had breakdowns.
Well, I'm going to have to argue with you on that. I'll say Democratic women are not capable of being president, but we have not had a Republican woman really up for nomination. And I think there are many Republican MAGA women, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she'd make an amazing president. I think she could handle it better than anybody.
Well,
as good as Trump.
The problem that women have when they get to that, by the time, I'm just using the examples of Kamala and Hillary, okay? That's all we've got. Those are our 2 case studies. When you get to the level where you can be nominated for president and run, you're at a certain age. And those are menopausal women, and they're emotional and erratic.
Goodness.
I'm sorry. I mean, guys, we know, those of us that are married, and Kathy, menopausal women, there's issues. But anyway, back to this. So toxic masculinity does not exist, okay? That's just some sexist thing they came up with of bigotry, of hatred towards men. And there has never been at the Army-Navy game guest of honor as masculine as this. President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Right? I imagine the first bud's going to be there, Elon Musk.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Right? Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. And now Daniel Penny, who saved people's life on the subway.
I have a crazy idea.
A lot of testosterone.
John Fetterman, who I am starting to like. He's a very funny guy, and he met with Pete. He's approving one of Trump's picks. He said he's coming out and approving. I think Elise Stefanik for United Nations. I think Trump should invite him. He seems to be one of the few Democrats.
Yeah.
That is willing to actually cross party lines and can be somebody that would vote for the Agenda 47. And I know you might think that's nuts, but he says a lot of things against his own party. I mean, he seems to be at least aware of what's going on and is not afraid to talk about it. I would like to see Trump invite him. I know he won't, but, invite a few Democrats to get to know Pete, to hang out with Pete, maybe drink a few beers, whatever, hang out. I think that would help. I mean, I think anything he can do to get people to get to know Pete better and cross party lines, I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I feel that Trump wants to do that he wants to get these Democratic politicians on his side. And a lot of them, I think, agree with what he's doing, but they're afraid to say so. But look at Mayor Adams coming out now. He said he's going to work with Tom Homan and he's going to get rid of all these illegals in New York. I mean, Democrats are coming around.
I wouldn't be so sure. Fetterman, let's talk about Fetterman first, okay?
Yeah.
Steve Kane is putting a bet down, okay, on this. He thinks Fetterman is the favorite to be the Democrat nominee in 4 years. I know it seems like
he's got to start dressing better.
He will. I've seen him in a suit once. So I don't know if we want to prop him up too much because he is, as crazy as it sounds, because Fetterman, was pretty weird when he was running, and then he went into the hospital for a month.
Something happened.
Had some type of brain surgery.
He's normal now.
And he's like rational, especially for a Democrat. So I don't know if I want to elevate him. He's not fully
on the MAGA train, but he's got his foot in the car.
And the other thing with Mayor Adams in New York, Mayor Adams is saying and doing all the right. Well, he's saying all the right things, and hopefully he'll do the right things. But what's going on with Mayor Adams in New York is he's hoping that the Trump Justice Department will make these investigations and charges against him go away.
We'll take it.
So he's doing all these things to save his own tail. No, it's good. But, this thing about the...
Does it matter the reason? Yeah, no, as long as it gets done.
Just don't be too confident with these guys. But the thing about the Army-Navy game, there's been a major change. Wokeism is not just temporarily gone. It's over. Wokeism is done.
You don't think it'll ever come back?
It'll always be some stupid person doing something stupid out there. But when you see Daniel Penny's acquittal, and then he's with the president and vice president and Pete Hegseth, it doesn't get tougher than that. And Pete Hegseth, what Pete Hegseth did this week was a true miracle. Okay, Pete Hegseth, those allegations against him were totally debunked. They tried everything, nothing worked, and Pete Hegseth has said for years that he was accepted to West Point, but turned down the invitation to go to West Point. Went to the Ivy Leagues, and
oh my God, he is a smart guy.
Yeah, and there was a liberal. The liberal media were about to run with a story. The Pentagon, the media went to the Pentagon, or I'm sorry, they went to West Point and asked West Point for the records of accepting Pete Hegseth, and West Point wouldn't produce anything. So the media were going to run with this story. They were going to start it yesterday and today that Pete Hegseth lied. He was not accepted to West Point. And then what they were going to do with that, they had this whole thing planned out. It was going to start either yesterday or today, and then all next week they were going to do this stolen valor, that he's been going through life telling people he was accepted to West Point when he wasn't, and do a stolen valor thing to try
Tim Walz.
Yeah, to try to get him pushed out of the Secretary of Defense nomination. And then Pete Hegseth produced something that I think it's miraculous that he has, especially a guy who's a military man who moved around. He had the letter, the acceptance letter from West Point. So Pete Hegseth took a screenshot of his acceptance letter in 1999 from West Point, posted it on X, and then miraculously right after that, West Point says, "Oh yeah, we found the records," and gave the records. I mean,
that's a letter you would
amazing.
Keep. That's a letter I would keep if I got, you know what I mean? That's a big deal to get accepted into West Point. And maybe, he's pretty intelligent to have his pick of these schools. And maybe even back then, because I'm sure he thought then, maybe I'll go into politics. He might have had the wherewithal to think, you know what, I better keep this in case somebody questions that I even got into this school. I could see him thinking that way because
maybe his parents kept it. Who knows? So,
but when his mom,
but what they were about to
wrote
do,
him that email.
The media, what the media has become, they're just weaponized. The media is weaponized, and they're in the business of destroying people they don't approve of or don't like. And they thought they had this stolen valor thing on him. And for Pete Hegseth to come out and produce that letter,
boom,
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It just shows how qualified he is for this job that he's so well organized.
Yes.
And
you got to keep the receipts.
I have never seen a cabinet nominee work so hard to get the nomination.
I know.
I've never seen this.
He'll get it.
Anytime someone's nominated for a big cabinet position or the Supreme Court, they always go to the Senate and meet with the senators, okay? And it's basically a photo op thing. But he's been like camped out at the Senate building, and it's been a couple weeks, and he is working so hard. And one of the reasons that he survived this, which is just beautiful, is because he stood up to them. You know, if you look at what's happened in the last couple of weeks with the fake news media and Pete Hegseth, they've come up with all the same tools that they've used against Republicans for decades. A sex scandal. They were trying to do the stolen valor scandal. They tried a financial scandal. And all of it has been debunked. Most Republicans, when these things happen, they cave. They get scared.
Well, that's why they do it. Why they do it.
They drop out.
Yeah, like Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, exactly. And Pete Hegseth stood up to them each and every time, and it didn't work. And he just defeated the fake news media. And then when he was asked about some slander on CNN, he said CNN's beneath him responding to, and which was amazing. And I'm wondering if he came up with that on his own, or did Trump give him that idea?
Just because somebody asks you a question when you're walking around the halls of Congress or whatever doesn't mean you have to answer it. You're not obligated to answer their questions. No, they're all set up obviously to make him look bad.
Yeah. And this Army Navy game, I'm so glad this toxic masculinity thing is over. How stupid. And the thing about it is, the Rush used to talk about the feminazis, and there's always been feminist. But what's gone on in the last few years is just so weird. I mean,
Justin Trudeau's a feminist, by the way.
Yeah.
He came out and said that.
They've turned the world upside down. And the world has been put back on its axis with the re-election of Donald Trump. It's amazing. If Kamala would have won, we'd be in big trouble right now.
Well, I think they were counting on the women vote, and they just totally dismissed men for years. And then at the last minute, at the 5-yard line, all of a sudden they came out and had all these celebrities, Harrison Ford and all these people coming out and begging men to vote for her after they had trashed them and canceled them for years and years. They realized, well, we really need their vote. But it wasn't just men that voted for Trump. Women voted for Trump too. They've convinced themselves that they don't. But he would not have won if he didn't have women voting for him.
That's right.
Every woman in my family voted for him. So, but they just put people in boxes. And I guess the freaks and geeks and the crazy lunatic liberal women weren't enough to drive it home for them.
Now, I want to talk about MyPillow. The specials that are going on at MyPillow right now are so good with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And I just want to go over a couple of the specials here. Listen to this. The classic MyPillow that started it all. This is all, of course, with our promo code Kane at checkout, just $14.88. The MyPillow 2.0, that's the one that has the temperature regulating technology. You'll never turn the pillow over looking for the cool side again. Just $7.49. The premium MyPillow, which is an upscale MyPillow, the cover is made of the Giza cotton, and it has that piping around it. It is just $18.98 with our promo code Kane. The prices at MyPillow.com are so low right now with our promo code Kane. Free shipping on orders over $75. The MyPillow My Slippers, just $59.98, and that is an all-time low price. The regular price on the slippers is $119.98, which is $15.98. It's a huge deal, and those make great gifts too, all year long, not just for Christmas. So go to MyPillow.com, do your Christmas shopping, and remember, you can ship all the MyPillow products that you buy as gifts directly to the recipient if you're not going to see them for Christmas. So go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and load up. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take our first break and be back right after this. Are you living a life filled with anxiety? You're not alone, but you can find relatable, real talk with the podcast Diary of an Anxious Girly on Spotify. Diary of an Anxious Girly tackles the struggles and the triumphs of a life living with anxiety. Recent episode discussions include, can anxiety silence your inner confidence? Is visualization a double-edged sword? And does everyone really need to like you? With honest conversations as well as practical insights, Diary of an Anxious Girly will empower you, help you grow, and remind you you're never alone in your anxiety journey. Diary of an Anxious Girly, available on Spotify. Start listening today. What happens when corporate greed outweighs ethics in drug development? Inspired by true events, the new book, Bad Pharma, from authors Pam Lazos and Abraham Johns, takes you behind the scenes of the pharmaceutical industry. With lives on the line, Bad Pharma raises critical questions about profit, accountability, and the risks we take for the promise of a cure. It's a story of power, science, and moral conflict. Bad Pharma is a must-read for anyone who dares to question the system. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Order your copy right now, because sometimes the reward just isn't worth the risk. Bad Pharma, from authors Pam Lazos and Abraham Johns, on Amazon. Have you dreamed of becoming a golf pro, but you feel overwhelmed by golf's complex rules, techniques, and endless equipment choices? You can simplify your game and become a master. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will get in the book from author David Greenway, Golf Simplified, a quick start guide to conquering the greens for beginners. Available on Amazon. Golf Simplified is a step-by-step guide. It's perfect for aspiring golfers who want to transition from frustrated beginners to a confident player. It begins with an easy-to-understand breakdown of golf jargon, expert tips for selecting the right equipment for your style and your budget. It's filled with clear, practical lessons on mastering your swing and improving your game. Golf Simplified is packed with relatable advice as well as real-life lessons. It makes mastering golf easier and more enjoyable than ever. Say goodbye to confusion and hello to confidence on the course. And next time you're on the course with your friends, family, or coworkers, they will be impressed. Order your copy of Golf Simplified today. It's available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback. Your path to mastering golf starts right now. Golf Simplified, a quick start guide to conquering the greens for beginners, from author David Greenway, on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Now, you were doing a poll. It's an interesting thing. Everything Trump does is interesting, but there's something he's talking about now. You did a poll on my YouTube community page.
Yeah, and by the way, all the polls we leave up, so you can scroll down and vote in other polls too. So this one is, Trump said today, the GOP will work to get rid of daylight savings time. That's the time we have in the summer. What do you think? So you have three choices. Good, I prefer standard time, which is where we are now. No, I like long summer days, or not sure yet. And so far, I prefer standard time is winning by 73%.
Yeah.
They say it's better. I prefer standard time as well. They say it's better for your sleep rhythm for it to get darker earlier. Now, when I was a kid, of course, I loved it because I could play outside longer. But do kids even play outside, really? I guess some do. In our neighborhood, some do. But that's why I liked it in the summer, is because it was light till 8:30,
you know what?
and we could swim or play outside more.
Okay, all this stuff.
Now it gets dark at 6.
Standard time, daylight savings time, all these changes. A lot of this happened, for a couple of reasons. Oh, longer summer days and all this stuff. Now, a lot of it happened. This was being discussed for a long time, like before there was like the electric light bulb, okay? And before everybody had electricity in their house and light bulbs. So the extra light was helpful because people didn't have electric light bulbs. And that's where a lot of that talk came from. Been going on for years and years and years. We're kind of beyond that now. Plus, everybody does everything inside now because everything's so electronic. I don't know. There must be some very powerful daylight savings time lobby group.
Well, okay. Because Trump said it costs us money.
How so?
I'm not sure. Some economist named William Shugart said that just resetting clocks every year costs the nation $1.7 billion annually.
Really?
It says here, changing clocks and daylight savings time rules can have a direct economic cost, such as extra work for remote meetings and computer applications. So Trump said it costs us money, so I'll go with Trump. I don't know too much about this. I know Marco Rubio has been on board with this for a long time, trying to get daylight savings to go away. I mean, it's been this way since when? I mean, since we were kids.
It's been a long time. But the thing about the changing of the clocks,
I prefer it this way now.
It hasn't, to me, I haven't even really noticed it. I used to when I was younger, notice the clock changes, but since we all have clocks that change on their own now, you don't have to spring ahead or fall forward anymore. The way it worked is before you went to bed on Saturday night, you would change the clock, right? But now all the clocks change themselves, whether it's your phone, even your car's clocks change on their own now. So I really don't think about it as much as I used to.
What they're saying is it has a lot to do with sleep. And that's during daylight savings, people don't sleep as much and as well because it's light till like 8:30 sometimes. Now it's dark at 6, so your circadian rhythm is better now. So the thought is that people are more productive during standard time because their melatonin kicks in, they go to bed earlier, and they're more well rested. And it probably affects school children too. I mean, daylight savings kicks in like in the spring, and you're still in school till like, June. And so I would imagine it would affect young kids that are out playing until 8:30 at night. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get them. I know when Emily was little, it's hard to get them to wind down. Mm-hmm. But if it's like dark at 6, it's easier to get them to bed earlier. So I can see where it would affect children negatively in that way. I think it's stupid. Yeah, I like standard time. What was the thinking behind it in the first place? You just said
my thought was that it was something that was talked about forever and ever before they did it. I thought, and this is what I always thought.
Right.
Okay, I always thought that they, meaning the powers that be, wanted to do this because when it's darker later during the summer, kids are home during the summer, and the reason. In the United States,
that's what they always told us.
The reason that we don't have year-round schooling in the United States, I don't know about the rules of the other countries because I know other countries don't have year-round schooling. But the reason that we don't have year-round schooling in the United States is because the kids used to work on the farms. And I always thought that the daylight savings time was to keep it lighter later, to keep people have people working on farms later in the day with more sunlight. And the kids were out of school for the summer. And I really think that's how this all kind of started.
In 1908.
Yeah, but they were talking about it.
And you're
for
probably
a long time.
Right. Yeah.
And even in 1908, by the way, the country was not electrified.
That's right. That's probably what it had a lot to do with because
it was the work on the farms and the kids were out of school.
Because I think you're right. Because out in the country, back in the early 20th century, probably very few people had electricity.
And in fact, I'll tell you.
So that's why,
Not only have I always thought that, because I haven't thought about daylight savings time in so long.
Trump said it's very costly.
When I was in school, in elementary school in the 70s, I remember one of my teachers telling us that we were out of school for the summer because kids worked on the farms, and that's what daylight savings time was about, so people could work in the farm fields later. And
so there's really no need for it anymore.
I don't think anybody knows today really why we have it. We just have it, so that's a good thing. Now, I wanted to play this exchange with Scott Jennings on CNN. They're talking about Caitlin Clark with this interview that Caitlin Clark did where she was talking about her white privilege and everything. Now, the thing about Caitlin Clark, she's young, college kid. I expect her to be dumb.
No, she's not in college anymore.
Well, she just got out. I mean, she's young. I mean, she's like college age. She's young. I expect somebody that age to be woke and all this stuff.
That's her generation.
I don't expect her to be conservative or anything else, but she's been the victim of racial bigotry like I've never seen. So it's hard to know if she's the hottest thing the WNBA's ever had, and it's not because of her skin color.
You're right. She's only 22.
Yeah, she's 20. Yeah, she's the best they've ever had, and she's broken all their records in a short time. And the thing about Caitlin Clark, she's been the victim of racial retribution and hatred in ways that we really don't see that often at that level. So I don't know if she's a liberal wokester or if she's just trying to get these girls off her back that are hitting her and harassing her.
Well, I'm sure that's a part of it. And when Michael Jordan became big, I'm sure more people started going to NBA games then too. He was a huge star in the 90s, Air Jordans and all. They just made a movie about his sneakers. And I remember my little brother had to get him, and they were like $200 back then. Nobody talked about his race because he was filling stadiums. I'm sure when Hank Aaron was playing baseball, people came out to see him too because he was a great ball player. That's what sports is about. It's not about race at all, but these people are making it about race, and it's pure jealousy. That's all it's about.
I'll tell you another
jealousy.
thing. When Jesse Owens won all the gold in the Berlin Olympics, when it comes to racial issues, historically in the United States, there's always been a lot of racial tension in the United States, of course. But the one place where it hasn't been an issue, it has in the last few years, like, with the take a knee and all this stuff. But historically in the United States, sports is the one place that rose above that so much, and they've been bringing us back. But I wanted to share this. Scott Jennings, who's become a superstar on CNN, he was with a panel, and they were talking about Caitlin Clark with her white guilt and the white privilege she says she benefits from and all of that. I want to play some of this exchange.
Why is she being bullied?
Why is that wrong?
Why is she being bullied for acknowledging something that's smart, truth, and factual?
Well, a couple things. Number one, whether you're an athlete or anyone else, if I hear you use the phrase "my truth," I immediately then discount everything else you say, because there isn't my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And when you start using phrases like that, it tells me that
not true.
Your brain has been captured by something that I don't really respect.
That's not true.
Number two.
That's not true.
Number two. The attention the league got this year was amazing, and it was all because of her. She is an amazing player. The arenas were full when she played in them. The TV ratings were up when she was on television. That's undeniable. But the league still lost like $40 million this year. And it's never made money. And to me, when you're talking about having respecting people who built something, what did they build? A league that loses money every year?
Exactly.
She has the capacity.
What do you mean, what
to
do they build? What do you mean, what do they build?
What kind of a business did they build?
The reason why it's still up.
Okay, now that Scott Jennings is very good. They're talking about giving him his own show.
Oh, really? Oh, I totally watched that.
But I don't know how that'll go, because coming in with zingers like he's doing, he's very good at it. He's very good. But when he's got a whole show on his own, that's a whole nother animal.
I think they need to.
He could be incredible, or
it could save their
fizzle.
Network. It would save their network.
This guy is the only reason people are watching CNN. They're losing to the Food Network in the ratings.
I would put him up against Jesse Waters.
Yeah, he's
8
good.
8 o'clock. That would be very smart idea.
He's doing good, but he makes such a good point. What have they built? They lost $40 billion last year.
Exactly.
And this woman's very upset.
Still running, whether it's losing money or not, is because of these black women who are in this. And so, no, stop it. You stop it now.
It's not. I was in Vicky's
Jeez.
I was in Vicky's arena. Let me just tell you.
It says more about the people who are getting offended by it than her.
I think they're just disappointed that she appears to have been captured by the woke mob.
You don't like
She's
the
being
Here's the
It's the white privilege.
Let him articulate.
I feel a little bad for her, because she's going to learn that it will never be enough, no matter how much of the phrasing, no matter how much of the groveling. It will never be enough for the.
That's right.
Yeah. See, what happens is, I'm not going to play any more of it. It goes on for quite some time. A couple things about this with Scott Jennings. It's right. It's never enough. Whenever you apologize or agree with the woke mob, when they're against you, they take it as a confession and they want more from you. Like, you've confessed that you're guilty of something, and they want more.
Right.
So it's right. It's never enough. It's like making deals with terrorists. But the thing about what's been going on at CNN, I don't watch CNN, okay? I watch clips on X with Scott Jennings in them.
If he has a show, I'll watch it.
I'll give it a go. I don't know. But
sure.
But it's interesting that he's the star of CNN now.
He's a superstar.
It's not Tapper. It's not Anderson Cooper. It's this MAGA guy, Scott Jennings, and every time he comes on, it's so interesting because he's on these panel shows, and every panel he has, he's in a position like Jessica Tarloff on the 5. He's usually the one conservative against like 5 Democrats, but unlike Jessica Tarloff, he is able to handle and fillet the entire panel one by one, as opposed to like a liberal on a conservative panel. And
you know what? He's a gentleman. I think he's from Kentucky. He's a gentleman.
He does it well, but the reason
because he doesn't lose his cool with these women. He's calm.
The reason he's able to do so well, he's very skilled. I don't want to take his debate skills away from him because he is a very highly skilled debater. And he never loses his cool.
I think he worked for GW.
And you know, I've told you guys many times when I'm on the air debating with people, you never hear me lose my cool. When you get angry is when you lose it. But
that's right.
The reason he's able to take on a panel of 5 or more sometimes, and Jessica Tarloff on the 5 is always in tears and freaking out, is because she's supporting ridiculous, absurd, indefensible positions. And he has the rational positions, the logical positions on all of these things. Liberalism does not hold up in a debate. And it's interesting that CNN, as left-wing as they are, have turned this guy into their star.
Yeah, I don't think they've turned him into it. I think the people have turned him into it. He posts these clips on his own X account, which I follow and you follow.
Yeah.
And they go viral. And he is super popular. And I think I don't know if they're watching this show because you got a bunch of women screaming. They like to have a lot of women on there screaming at him, because I guess they think if they have women yelling at him, it emasculates him and he's not going to go after them. He handles them well, He doesn't lose his cool, but these clips are going viral, and CNN is definitely noticing this. And people are always talking about him. Nobody talks about, like you said, Jake Tapper. I'm bored with those guys. Anderson Cooper. If CNN was smart, and if they could put their own personal politics aside, they would give this guy a primetime show and have a whole lineup that could compete with Fox. But they won't. I can't see them doing it. I mean, maybe they will out of desperation. They could turn that whole network around. I would love to see another Larry King style show. I've had this idea before. I don't know if he could do it now with Ryan Seacrest. I always thought that'd be a great idea. He's not a political guy, and have it on like at 10, 11 o'clock at night where you have one really, I liked Larry King. I used to watch it all the time, and he would interview very interesting people, and they were good interviews. And have somebody on like that at night and change up their lineup. Get rid of these people. All they do is shuffle the chairs in the Titanic. Get rid of MSNBC's done. There's only a matter of time before they get bought, and I can't wait for that day to happen because those people are horrible. But CNN has a chance to save themselves, but they have got to make some smart choices, and they got to get rid of Brian Stelter. He's just god-awful. I don't know why they brought him back. He's repulsive, but Scott Jennings is a winner, and if they were smart, they would build their whole network around this guy, and it would totally pull them out of the muck that they're in. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll give him a show, and that'll be it.
CNN, they're like the WNBA. They're not a for-profit outfit, right? They're not in the business.
Well, they're going to get sold like MSNBC then, if not for not too long. Honestly,
CNN is a CIA front group to spread agendas. Now, I want to talk about this story with Carrie Lake with the Voice of America, because this is interesting. When I first heard that Trump made her he appointed her to be the head of Voice of America. Now, Voice of America, for those that don't know, during the Cold War era, they had like radio stations and they would blast American stuff, mostly rock and roll music, into like East Berlin and the Soviet Union and stuff. I didn't know it still existed because I remember after the fall of the Soviet Union, there was a lot of talk, well, why do we have Voice of America, right? Do we really need it anymore? We won the Cold War. And when I heard that Carrie Lake got this appointment, my first thought was, well, Trump has given out so many jobs, there must not be much left. Because this seemed to be like really a sad kind of job, I thought, when he first appointed her to it. And then I went online and I looked up Voice of America and I learned a couple of things. First, they're huge. Do you know that Voice of America has over 328 million viewers each week? 328
I don't even know where it is.
It's not in America. That's why we're not familiar with it. Voice of America is worldwide, okay? And they have 328 million
Wow. Brian Stelter was freaking out over this.
And they have a YouTube channel, okay? Yeah. And you can go on YouTube, look up Voice of America, and go to their channel and watch some of their coverage. It's like, the way I would describe it, it's a cross between the BBC and Al Jazeera. It's supposed to be the Voice of America, but it's anti-American, and it's hardcore anti-American.
So she's going to change that.
And they have reporters and everything else. It's kind of in the format of the BBC or Al Jazeera, but it's got that viewpoint too. Very anti-American.
Well, that's a very important job because it really matters how the world views us.
For them to have three, and by the way, it's radio, it's television, it's cable, it's digital. It's a massive.
That's a perfect job for her.
It is think about that, 328 million a week. That's more than the cable we have in this country combined, all of them. It is, Voice of America is, it's freaking huge. I had no idea. When I went to a broadcasting school too before I went to college. By the way, don't do that. It's a waste of money. Okay. Although I learned a lot. I did. I learned how to.
It worked out well for you.
You know what I did? What broadcasting? I did learn a bit in broadcasting school, but I made a lot of contacts with radio people. It's how I got my foot in the door. Okay, by contacts I made in broadcasting school. So I shouldn't say it's a waste of money, but it's expensive. But anyway, regardless of that, you can learn most of the stuff you learn on YouTube, but you can't make the contacts, right? The thing about Voice of America, one of my teachers in broadcasting school, he used to work for Voice of America. He worked at one of their radio stations in Europe, and I remember, but that was a long time ago. But anyway, they have an audience of 328 million a week on every type of media outlet there is: radio, television, digital, cable, all that stuff. That is an audience that we don't realize it here in America because we don't see it here. It's for the world. It's broadcast around the world. So that being taken over by Carrie Lake, she's going to turn that into a proper pro-voice.
Well, they use it for propaganda to turn the world against us.
It's the Voice of America is the voice to hate America.
Right.
And it's kind of like NPR a little bit.
The left have lost their control over the media.
She is going to turn it around.
Yeah.
And you could very well find Carrie Lake on the air on Voice of America. And I am so excited about this. This is a big freaking deal. And I'll tell you something.
It's a big deal.
When she's done.
So she'll move to Washington, I'm assuming, right? Her and her family.
I'm sure their headquarters are in Washington, but they have bureaus all over the planet. The Voice of America is bigger than CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, Newsmax, CNBC, and all of them combined. I had no idea. So don't let I don't think many people in this country realize that. Brian Stelter does, because he was having a freak out on CNN.
Total freak out about it.
And when I saw his freak out is when I went and researched it. Okay, I said, if he's freaking out about it, what do I not know? And that 328 million a week.
I never heard of him either.
I've heard of him, but I didn't think it existed anymore. And so anyway,
important job.
When she's done with that job, she's going to turn it around into a proper pro-American thing. The purpose of Voice of America is to spread the American, they call it propaganda, but to spread the American viewpoint on things around the world. That's the point of it.
I can only imagine the things they say now.
It's bad. I watched a few of their stories. When I say it's like Al Jazeera, it is. It's like watching Al Jazeera right now.
You know, if you want to watch good news, I like the Sky News out of Australia.
Sky News Australia is very good.
Follow them on YouTube.
I watch them a lot.
They are very pro-Trump.
I watch them every day.
They are hilarious. They make fun of Democrats. They make fun of all the people you don't like. I mean, I love it.
Well,
it's hilarious.
I watch it every day on YouTube. But you know, the thing about Carrie Lake, when she's done turning Voice of America around into a proper Voice of America, which is MAGA, right?
Yeah.
You could find her becoming like the new Roger Ailes.
See, that's the thinking out of the box that Trump does. No other president has really done that. Has And she is super MAGA. It's a perfect job for her.
Well, what Brian Stelter said, and I take what he says with a grain of salt because he's a liar, but he said other than Trump, the other presidents have left it alone, and it's been run by itself internally, and they hire who runs it internally. That's crazy.
So she's going to come in there and kick ass.
She's going to fire everybody.
Exactly.
And
it's going to be fun.
I imagine she's going to hire because some of the stories I saw, the reporters had English accents. So I don't know why they're hiring foreign people. It should be all Americans.
Yeah, that's weird.
But a lot of good people that are real.
She might hire some of her people she worked with in Arizona. I mean, she has a lot of contacts in the media.
My guess would be that the people she hires to be on the air on Voice of America will be, yes, people she knows from local media, but also a lot of the good journalists that have been canceled. You know, like Catherine Herridge and these kind of people. I imagine she's going to.
Kathy, that would be a good choice.
I mean, think about it. If they have 328 million a week, that's the largest audience.
So are they on TV, that's like everybody YouTube, in the radio? What platforms
Every
are they
platform
on?
that exists, they're on. Every cable, broadcast television, radio.
I wonder if they have an app
streaming
on our Roku.
I don't know. I'm going to look, but it may not all. It may not really be available so much in the United States because it is not made for the American audience. It's made to broadcast the American way to the world and perspective of things, but it's been doing the opposite. And you could possibly even find Carrie Lake on the air there. And I hope that she does. So don't let anyone tell you.
Hire Steve Bannon too.
Yeah, don't let anyone tell you that this job is just some throwaway job because they didn't. This is one of the most important jobs. And it fits in. This Voice of America, it fits in with what President Trump said he wants to do for our 250th anniversary. He wants to change the education system. He wants to have a year-long celebration of America. That's
going to be amazing.
Voice of America is supposed to celebrate America. She's going to.
I was telling Emily about that because you and I were alive during the bicentennial, and this is called. It's got a weird name for the quince. I can't remember, but it's a long thing for the 250th. I am super excited because when the first one happened, I was 6, and I remember it vividly. I mean, I remember it well. And it was a big deal. I remember Bruce Jenner was everywhere. And so I'm excited.
We had the Olympics that year.
The Olympics were that year. He won the decathlon, and he was on the Life cereal. And I just remember it was a big deal, all the celebrations and TV. If Kamala had won, it would be an apology tour of America, and you would hear people all day long talking about how horrible we are.
Yeah.
You know, it is amazing to me. Americans are the most generous, kindest people. They might have like no extra money, but they're the first ones to stick their hand in their wallet and donate $1 or $5 or whatever they can to help people in need. And if we're so bad, why the hell does the whole world come to us for help?
Exactly.
I mean, give me a break. These are just people that I think hate themselves, but hate America. They got a big chip on their shoulder. And I'm so glad Trump, now he also said he's going to build a bunch of monuments. He had mentioned that in the first time, but I don't think Trump is going to allow the same distractions that happened in the first term. I don't think he is going to dance around with the media anymore. He might do an interview here or there, but he is not going to waste time. I want to ask you what you think about the J6 committee and him going after these people, if that's worth, if you think he's going to do that.
Let's take our break first, and I want to tell everyone about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. Now, you guys know I've been talking about him for a couple of years. He's rid me of pain 6 times. His laser away pain treatment works. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard, and I want to tell you, the reason it works is it repairs the damage that's causing the pain. It is 100% painless. It's completely painless. There's no injections, no shots. Injections and shots are the same thing, right? No drugs, no downtime. And it is 100% painless. You feel nothing. It's when it's going on, it's amazing. Oh yeah, and the best part is it works because it rids you of pain.
If there's somebody who's afraid of, there's no shots, so that's right. So
there's no shots. There's no needles, no shots.
Nothing to be afraid of.
No, there's no, and it's 100% painless.
That's amazing because I remember in college I had hurt myself. And I had to get cortisone shots.
Oh no, that's awful.
For 3 months.
That's crazy to do. No,
3 months I had to go in, and those did not feel good. So this is treatment, if you don't like needles, and this is not long term, a couple visits and boom, you're good.
Well,
it's very benign.
every time he's treated me, not only has he rid me of pain, but the pain has not returned. Give Dr. Appleton a call now. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Although, if you're traveling from out of town, I recommend you do make an appointment. Appointments are not necessary, but you can make them. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. We'll take a break. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy, and be right back. Are you ready to transform your health and your vitality? Rakapashi Organics are passionate about bringing you the life-changing benefits of Shilajit. Shilajit has been treasured for thousands of years as the destroyer of weakness. Shilajit is nature's powerhouse. It can boost your energy and stamina naturally, enhance mental clarity, as well as focus, promote fertility and reproductive health, fight aging with potent antioxidants, detoxify your body, and support your gut health. Sourced ethically from the towering Himalayas, Rakapashi Organic Shilajit is 100% pure, non-toxic, and highly potent. It's packed with fulvic acid for optimal nutrient absorption. It's the ultimate boost for your wellness routine. Are you ready to start living your most vibrant and energetic life? Order today at RakapashiOrganics.com. That's RAKAPOSHI. Use the promo code HEALTHYUSA for free shipping on all products. With a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, there's nothing to lose. Only energy and vitality to gain. Live beautiful with Rakapashi Organics. Start today at RakapashiOrganics.com. Are you a business owner, large or small? Do you have a brick and mortar business with employees, a Shopify store or Etsy shop, or another online or home-based business? If you want to attract new customers, you need to boost your brand, and PLR Basket will help you do just that and more, offering you unlimited tips and products that will help you empower your business's success. Getting the attention of new customers is key, and with an extensive library of ready-to-use products, PLR Basket has an extensive library of ready-to-use products, including ebooks, courses, WordPress plugins and themes, Shopify themes. They can help with your ebook, website design, Lightroom presets, and so much more. With the resources at PLR Basket, you can scale your brand without the grind of content creation. Imagine this: customizing top quality resources to fit your brand and instantly engaging your audience. PLR Basket empowers entrepreneurs just like you, as well as digital marketers and content creators, so that you can monetize your content, build authority, and streamline your workflow with ease. With captivating WordPress themes and plugins to insightful ebooks and productivity tools, PLR Basket has what you need to work smarter, not harder. Join the community of forward-thinking business owners who trust PLR Basket to amplify their growth. Are you ready to make your mark? Visit PLRBasket.com. That's PLRBasket.com and unlock the tools that can empower your business journey. PLRBasket.com, where your success starts now. PLRBasket.com. Are you planning a group cruise and are struggling to keep everyone on the same page? You're not alone. Cruise planning can be chaotic, but it doesn't have to be. Say goodbye to communication headaches and hello to mycruisewebsite.net. Mycruisewebsite.net is created by Ram. He has over 30 years of experience in the cruise industry and is a former onboard future cruise sales manager. Mycruisewebsite.net offers beautifully designed, affordable websites starting at just $59. Imagine this: having a single, easy-to-use platform to share everything: the cruise itineraries, flight details, shore excursions, fun updates, photos, and videos, even during the cruise. With mycruisewebsite.net, you'll have no more missed messages or scattered communications with your group. Your group will stay informed, connected, and ready to make memories together. Whether you're a family, a group of friends, a corporate group, or a travel organizer, this is the ultimate way to elevate your cruise experience. Visit mycruisewebsite.net and set sail with confidence. mycruisewebsite.net.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and Co-host Kathy, thanks so much, guys, for tuning out. We were talking before the break. Do you think Trump's going to go after the J6 committee? Yes. The J6 committee...
They're panicked.
They not only did they destroy evidence and testimony after the fact so it couldn't be properly investigated, which is a crime. They destroyed not just legal documents and congressional documents, but historical documents for the history of this country.
I think he needs to.
But they got witnesses to perjure themselves, okay, and coordinated. You know, there's what was the girl that gave all the testimony that worked at the White House and told these fantastic Cassidy Hutchins?
Yeah.
You know, she told this story of Trump trying to take the vehicle over from the Secret Service and throwing food on the walls of the White House. I mean, no, they typically people that are in Congress have immunity from things they do on the floor of Congress. That's kind of, Congress makes the laws, and Congress makes the laws so that they can break them, okay? Like, Congress people cannot slander when they're on the floor of Congress. Now, they can commit crimes off the floor of Congress, okay? Like if they take bribes and things like this. So they don't have immunity while they're congressmen, but historically they have immunity for things they do on the floor of Congress. But they weren't on the floor of Congress when they were destroying documents or getting witnesses to perjure themselves and do all these other things. So I think that committee, those people on that committee should be investigated, should be prosecuted, and should be put in prison. What they did was a coup. I call it a pre-coup. They were trying to stop Trump's reelection. It's a pre-coup. And it's criminal. And, people go to prison for lying to Congress. What if you're the one that's crafting the lies to Congress, right? Liz Cheney and all of them. So I think that they will go after them, yeah. And
I think they should. He definitely needs to for the country. He needs to expose them for what they did. So this, like Megyn Kelly said, so this never happens again.
That's right.
And he needs to go after them. And I think he will too. I think he's pissed. And I don't think he's the kind of guy that lets go of a grudge. And I wouldn't even call it a grudge. This is about justice. That's what it's about. It's not about revenge. It's about justice. And I think he needs to get it and go. And they're scared to death. I can tell you that. Adam Schiff came out the other day. Oh, we don't need a pardon, but the president shouldn't come out. Really, but they can go after him with all they have and make up all these lies. You have to expose these people. This stuff has to end now. Cheney and Kinzinger are out of office. I don't know if the other people are in office, but it doesn't matter. They need to be exposed for what they did. I just hope they're not destroying evidence, but that's possible.
They did.
Right.
They did. We know
that. And it might continue.
Well, Kathy, why is it wrong to go after, I want you to think about this from their viewpoint. Why is it wrong to go after a congressman who's breaking the law in Congress, but okay to go after a president that
that's
they
liberal
said
logic.
Now Trump didn't do any crimes, but they said he did. So they got with Vindman, they got the Inspector General after. I mean, what the heck's that about?
Yeah, they made it all
see,
up.
There's been a big change, since I was talking about this morning. There has been a miraculous defeat of the deep state this week, and these things are being reported, but they're not being put in their proper context or given their proper due, right? So Christopher Wray resigns, which is huge. And by the way, he's the one that authorized the break-in of Mar-a-Lago and many other things.
And now Mayorkas might do it.
The next day, so we'll go. Christopher Wray resigns. Mm-hmm. Then, just shockingly, the Inspector General of the Justice Department says there were all these FBI informants in the J6 crowd. And I promise you, when we find out who they were, a lot of them are going to be names that we know and leaders of MAGA organizations that they're front groups, like fake conservative groups.
And all of a sudden, the Patriot Front is
that's the third one.
Is coming. Yeah,
okay, that's the third one. So then yesterday, the Patriot Front, which is everybody has said is feds, announced that they're dissolving.
Yeah.
So that's all boom, 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 3 beats. That's it. And that's just in the last 2 days.
And I think there might be a lot of people in the government that have been afraid, whistleblowers, to speak out, that might not be so afraid now to speak out. They might come forward and testify and say, this happened, that happened, and, this person orchestrated this. And, it's going to be a very interesting 4
it's
years.
Great.
It's
look at what's happening before he's even in.
This is why you don't ever give up if you have the truth on your side, because it eventually the truth always comes out, and God is shining a lot. I really think Trump getting shot at made him realize that he really does have a true purpose. Not that he never thought that before, but I feel like he's on a mission from God and he understands the assignment and he's going to get it done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not about us or anybody. I mean, it is, but I think Trump understands the gravity of what he's about to do and that he was chosen to do it.
No, absolutely.
And nothing's going to stand in his way.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
No, there's no doubt about it, and it's very obvious everything that's going on, and it's beautiful. Now, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need, and no matter where you are in the state of Florida, he can help you with roof repair or roof replacement on any type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, everything, right? He can also handle a job of any size. He can handle a small single-family home like we have, or a massive condo community or apartment community with an HOA that has 200 buildings in it. It's amazing. I'm going to give you his cell phone number, but I want to also tell you he's not just a roofer; he's a contractor, which means in Florida, because he's a licensed contractor under Florida law, Tom Laporta is allowed to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof. And that is a big, big time saver, okay? You may not need a public adjuster. Some people, to get their insurance company to pay higher attorneys, you may not have to do that because Tom Laporta could deal directly with them. Here's his cell phone number, which he only gives out to our listeners, okay? If you go to the website, the number on the website is not his cell phone number, okay? He only gives that out to our listeners. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com.
I wanted to tell you, did you know Jordan Peterson is moving to the United States?
Yes.
I did not know he didn't live here already. He's going to leave. He said it's too totalitarian. And, you know, they're postal, they call them posties, because I was talking to my cousin Lenore, and she lives in Mississauga, and their postal workers are on strike because I was getting everybody's address.
Mississauga, that's in Canada.
Yeah, to send Christmas cards. I haven't sent cards in a while because the last few Christmases have been rough. And she's like, don't bother because the posties, as they call them, are on strike. They're not getting any mail or anything. And she told me they make $50 for 4 hours, and they're taxed very heavily. So I can understand that. That's really nothing. And they're walking and driving in the snow and all that stuff. So that's been going on for about a month now.
Yeah.
So, you know, good old Justin Trudeau, I think his days are numbered because I think they're so fed up with that guy. But anyway, just a little interesting thing that he's moving to the States.
I was watching an interview with Jordan Peterson. He was being interviewed by his daughter.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peterson, he dresses so cool. Have you seen how he dresses? He dresses, you know what he dresses
snappy.
like? He dresses like a rock star. It's like, you know, like a rock star who's like a little older and they wear nice like suits. His suits are not, I know sometimes you'll see him like in a proper tailored suit.
Yeah.
But most of his suits, like I saw him, he was interviewed by his daughter and he's wearing like his shoes. They look like red Doc Martens, but because it's Jordan Peterson, I know they're more upscale than Docs. But his jacket, he's wearing like this black suit jacket, a beautiful jacket, but the sleeves like halfway up are like red velvet.
Oh, nice.
I don't know where he gets his clothes. I probably couldn't afford them, but Jordan Peterson dresses really good.
What do you think is up with these drones over New Jersey? Do you think this is serious or?
I think it's probably Iran or China doing something. Yeah, probably.
You don't think it's some kind of joke?
We'll find out. Some of them have been crashing over the weekend. So if they get them, maybe we'll find out.
Well, you never know. Not till Trump's in office.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Listen, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening.